Hello, good evening. Welcome, everyone, to the Unite in Light Domestic Violence Awareness Conference. We are thrilled that you are here this evening, and I have an amazing speaker that's going to share with you something that's really um, good warnings, very practical in the skills, and something that I think many of us who have unfortunately gone through these things, if we would have known that piece of what a red flag actually is, maybe we could have been spared. Now, I know everything happens for a reason. And now, even including Miss Patrisha Fowler, her reasoning, her story now goes out and helps so many people. So, we wanted her to be this amazing guest tonight on October the 5th here at the Unite in Light Domestic Violence Awareness Conference. So, thank you all for being here. And now, Trisha, it is your turn. Let's talk about this. Share what you know about red flags.
Yes. Well, first of all, thank you for having me. I'm happy to be here, and I'm more than happy to share what I know, what I have learned through my experience, and what I have learned also by educating myself more from my experience. Um, to start, there were a lot of red flags during my experience. I was married for 10 years. Um, during that time, looking back now, a lot of the red flags I saw, I didn't realize they were red flags then. I didn't know anything about domestic violence at the time. But when you're young and in love or think you're in love, and people have arguments and you're just like, oh, couples do this, and you just brush it off, and you're like, okay, maybe he had a hard day, and you make excuses for the person. They're going to change, it's going to get better. But it continues to happen. It continues to happen. That right there in itself should have been a flag for me, but it wasn't. It wasn't until after the fact. So that's something right there in itself for anybody. If it's something that continues, that's definitely a red flag. I think the one of the important things is we have to watch for patterns. Watch for patterns of people's behaviors. We have to watch for excuses of why they do certain things that they do, because they're always going to have a reason. I did this because I had a bad day. Well, I had a bad day too, but I'm not abusing you or mistreating you or cursing you out or throwing bowls of food at you. So that, it makes sense to me not to do these things to you. So it should make sense to the other person not to do it as well, but they have excuses for it. This is why we have to educate ourselves. And nowadays, the internet provides so much information. Even if someone doesn't know anything about domestic violence, you can go straight to the internet and find out anything. Type in a question. What is domestic violence? What is a red flag? And it will tell you so much information that will help you find out what it is, and you can know what to do. And once I found out after going through counseling and stuff, I knew what to do. And you can do the same thing. I'm sorry,
That
y'all.
that is so important to know that you can continually learn, get educated, get ready, understand, and keep learning. I love how you said that the internet has a great support to know, hey, this is what's happening. You can really do a lot of good research there too.
Yes.
The opportunity to learn, to stop the excuses is huge. The bravery to say, okay, wait a minute, this might be a red flag. And then what are we going to do after we have this, like multiple red flags happening? Do we just continuously accept them? When do we put the stop from it? Now that we've learned things, do we start to make a plan? So, in your own life, as you saw these things, excuses, repetitive patterns, what were some other red flags that you saw?
Um, Change in behavior, change in attitude, the change in the way that I was addressed, the aggressiveness that was used towards me. From in the beginning, it was so polite and kind and just gentlemanlike, and then it went to, excuse me, mean, nasty, name calling, cursing, calling me out of my name for and sometimes for just no reason at all, and I didn't understand it. And it could be in public, anywhere, in front anyone, at my job, in the store, in front of kids. It did not matter. And me thinking I didn't have a voice, I never spoke up for myself. I never spoke up. And that's something as women, and not just only women, but men as well, we have to understand that we have a voice. We have a right to say if someone's talking to you in a way. First of all, if someone's calling you a name that's something that's not on your birth certificate or that's not pleasing to you, you have the right to say, I don't like the way you're talking to me. Don't call me that. You have the right to open your mouth and say that to them, whether they don't like it or not. And I didn't realize that for myself for a long time. I didn't realize that for a long time. And that was something, that was one of the flags, just realizing that I could have spoke up and said, don't talk to me like that, or don't talk to me no more like that, or just ignored it or walked away from him. But I didn't do that. I just kind of shut down and kept silent and let him continue to demean me, thinking I didn't have a option to say anything or stand up for myself. But I did.
And
And
when did
and
that point come that you decided, okay, I mean, because if you've taken it for such a long time, accepting it to, well, what he interpreted would have been acceptance, or the more power and the control that is he's throwing these things at you, you're not fighting back, so he can just, it gives him that green light to just keep going. When did you say that's enough?
I think it got to the point where one day we had a physical altercation, and it got bad, and it got to the point where I got the phone and dialed 911. I was able to tell them what was going on and give them my address, but he pulled the phone out the wall. And when a kid picks up the phone and dial 911 and then like hang up, they will call back and say, hey, someone called 911. Is everything okay? Or they will come out and check. They didn't call back, nor did they come out and check. And that day I knew that if we got into a physical altercation, that he could possibly kill me, or I would end up killing him trying to defend myself. And at that moment, I knew that I had to figure out a way to get out of there, or get out of that situation, away from him. And from that day on, I started thinking about how I was going to escape. And it just came that one day when I got home from work, he wasn't there. I took my kids and I just left. And I went to my mother's, whom I hadn't seen in a couple of years. I was isolated from her, and she took me and my kids in, and I basically started my life over because I had nothing. I just left everything behind, their entire apartment. All we had was a little bit of clothes. I started over with everything, a new place. I still had my same job, but I started over from scratch with everything. And I kind of just told him that we needed to get a new place, which kind of didn't make sense, but he didn't even question it. It was, it didn't make sense. We had a place already, but I told him we needed to get a new place. So it took me a minute to tell him that I was done. And so about after a month, I told him I was done. It was it. I was tired of being stressed out and all that. And after that point, that was it. I was over it then.
Wow. There is that we have a point, and hopefully that point happens well before we get into this challenging situation. I'm so grateful that you were able to get out, get the separation, get the physical piece
Yeah.
away, because then time and healing can really start. And you had mentioned
Yeah.
counseling before. So to come back, if you see, so I know you talk to a lot of youth, young women, young
Mm-hmm.
men out there. What's some of the things that you talk to them about concerning these red flags?
Well, the first thing is I stress to them the importance of not being so quick to jump in a relationship. A lot of young people, they're so in a hurry to get in a relationship, and I tell them they have plenty of time for that. They have to wait. I'm not like it's police. Until the right time, because when they do it so fast, if it's not God sent, this is what happens. They get with somebody, and it's not the right person, and then they go down the wrong road, and they get hemmed up, and these type of things happen. And sometimes people make it out, and sometimes they don't.
That's so true. That I like how you said to slow down, think about the relationship, what's happening. And I like how you said to wait. And I always talk about you got to date. Date. That's part of this wait. Look, see, experience things before you just give everything away. Because, like yours started out, gentleman, nice, uh, that's how you're brought in. That's not a red
Hmm.
flag, or it doesn't
Right?
feel
No,
like a
it
red
wasn't.
flag.
It
And there's
wasn't.
something that's even becomes part of a red flag because maybe too perfect, maybe too nice, maybe too, quote, by the book, right? Maybe too much like that can also be a red flag
Yeah.
because you wonder, well, when is this gonna change? Because I messed up lots today, and he seems like he never messes up. Like perfection is like, wow, maybe there really is a Prince Charming. Maybe there really is somebody that can just always have his act together.
Hmm.
Yeah, just that's not life. It's not
It
reality.
and that could be a cover up, because even before I got married, I was asked about 4 times, and I had said no. And then when I finally said yes, something even then could have told me to think, why did I say no all those times? So that could have even been a flag for me then. Why did I keep saying no? So you have to think there must have been a reason, even if I didn't see it or know what the reason was. But looking back, you don't know. But hindsight is 2020. So
Yes.
it was something, I just didn't know what it was.
Yeah. I have a saying that says, God gave you your guts. So follow them. That inkling, that thing. I mean, something was telling you to tell every time he asked, no, no, no. And sure, your life would have been different if you would have followed that. But here we are. And now your ability to help so many others so that when they get that first gut reaction of no, they can follow it. Patricia, you're in a great ministry that really helps so many people. So share with us a little bit about what it is you do with all of the amazing people you meet.
Well, I help them understand what they need to do to be aware in their dating, in their relationship, so that they don't go down the wrong road or don't go so far in before it's hard to get out of it. You know, if they see something, if you're dating someone and early on you see something, it's okay to say, you know, I don't think I want to go any further. You know, because if you're not so vested in, and even if you are, some people feel like if they're 6 months in, well, I don't gave this person 6 months of my life. I don't want to waste that. But would you rather give up that or give them 3 more months and then end up maybe dead because you didn't want to waste you think you're wasting your time, you or did you gave this person this time, now you don't want to waste it per se. That's kind of crazy to me, because I'd rather have my life than feel like I wasted time with somebody when you really don't even know this person. I mean, it takes time to get to know a person. Some people can meet somebody and marry them in a day, a week, a month. Some people might meet somebody and say it might take them 10, 20 years to marry somebody. Everybody is different. Everybody is different. But in today's world, people are different. I'll just use that term. People are different. So I know me personally, I'm not going to meet somebody today and marry them tomorrow or next week or next month or next year even. I'm just not. I'm
Yeah.
just not. And I know that for a fact. I
Yes.
don't care how well good they look or whatever. I'm just not.
Right. You have experience to really back that up. And you have experience watching others probably, hopefully, make some better choices, but maybe not. There, there's something interesting about these red flags for both men and women. The challenge, I hope, kind of, if we go to the backside of this and think about prevention, you, like I said, God gives you your guts, so use them. Red flags pop up because your gut's saying something's off, something's wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes we're like, well, I can't really label it, so maybe, and then we put in the rationalization. Okay, who wants you to rationalize and excuse things? Well, it's not God. Might be that other person. So I'm just saying that. And
Right.
with that, when you have those warnings or those uneasy feelings, you're just dating. That's the whole point. Dating is like trying things on, see if it's going to fit, see if it's going to work. And it, like you said, it's ridiculous to try and squeeze into something, or the fit might be too big and just think, oh, with time, this will work. That's a lot of time and possibly children being born into a relationship that can be impacted. And now we see generational abuse.
Right.
It's not good. So
It's,
those red
it's not.
flags really need to be aware, right?
Right. But I think also we have to be in tune to something. I also tell people is that when you're feeling something, we have to be in tune to what we're feeling. Whatever it is, a good feeling, a bad feeling, feel what you're feeling, because you're being true to yourself. When you ignore that, that can hurt you, that can hinder you, that can stop you from being blessed, from being a blessing, that can stop you from being hurt, that can stop you from seeing something that you might need to see. So we can't ignore those instincts, those gut feelings. those signs from God. We can't ignore those. We can't ignore those. God always sends us a sign. And some people say, well, I didn't know. It could have been a leaf falling off a tree or something. It's always a sign to let you know something's not right. I don't care what it is. It could have been a spoiled cup of milk to tell you don't eat this, don't do this. It's always a sign, but most of the time we ignore it for whatever reason.
Right. And in that ignorance, we can pay a price. So, with those red flags, I know that you wrote a book, and I'm going to go there right now. And it's called Turning a Blind Eye to the Red Flags. So, share with us about this book and why you feel like this is important for people to get and to read so that they are prepared.
It's important because, and I wrote it from my perspective of the things that I experienced, that I overlooked, the red flags that I saw looking back. And it's important because when you see things and you know you see it, but you ignored it, and then these things have hurt you, somebody else needs to know that when they see these things, this is important because this is something that could possibly save your life. If you see it and you know this is bad, but you still choose to overlook it, you have to think about if you have children, your family, your parents, your siblings, somebody may have to bury you because you chose to look the other way about something that you knew was wrong or that could possibly help somebody or hinder you that somebody could use to take your life. So that's why I think it's very important and why I wrote the book so that people could read some of the things that I saw, that I overlooked, that I never talked about, that I didn't share with people, that was very important, and blessed that didn't take my life, that I was able to talk about and write about and had the opportunity to share with other people so that they could see that some of these things, some people might say some of the things were small, but at the same time, everybody is different and you never know how it could help somebody else. You never know because each person is different. You don't know how somebody may show anger one way and somebody else may show their anger in on a scale of 1 to 10. Somebody might be a 5, somebody might be a 15. But if they know that this is something that could trigger them and you already know this, you know now you know what to do if you see it coming, which could help save you or prevent you from it. So why wouldn't I share this?
Right? The power that's within an experience and a story can be that pathway for so many people to stop, look, find out, am I waiting? Am I dating? Is my gut telling me things? Am I seeing red flags? Am I ignoring this? What
Right.
is my life like? The waste of time? Well, 6 months being, quote, wasted is so much better than a lifetime of hurt, pain, misery. And we don't know how long that lifetime is, depending
Right.
on how the other in your scale, right? If you're a 5, oh, and that 15, which is 5 times above that 10. Yeah,
I think we normalize things that are not okay and not right. We normalize it too much, and that's why a lot of the things happen. They are made acceptable. The way men talk to women, the way women talk to men sometimes in abusive relationships. People will say, "Oh, that's just how he is. That's just how she is. That's just how they talk to each other." But it's not okay. That should not be acceptable. That is not the way you love somebody. If you love somebody, you don't talk to them like that. You don't call them out their name. You don't talk to them like they're trash and put them down and belittle them in front people and then turn around and ask them to fix you something to eat, uh, give you love and different things like that. You don't do that. You don't do that. And we have to stop making it okay because it's not okay. We have to know our value and our worth. When we start realizing that and recognizing that and adding tax to it, then we'll start letting people know how valuable we are and not settling for what they're giving us.
The power in that, not not settling, not accepting. As a society, in our social circles, we really have to look at what the society, the acceptance of the area, the group, the community that we're in really is. I know I've experienced in different moves throughout different parts of the country what's acceptable here, part of the culture. All right, interesting. Move to another place. Wow, what's acceptable here?
Hmm.
Never heard of this before. This is just an example. Where I first lived and had my kids, birthday parties, what the culture or what was suggested or what was normalized was you sent out invitations, the kids came over, the parents dropped off, you and those kids had the party, do the activities,
Hmm.
have the cake, open the gifts, the parents come, pick up, and off you go. Well, I had a birthday party in a different part of the country. Get ready, and my experience from what I had there, I open it up, ready, invitations out. Here come the parents with the kids, and the parents aren't dropping off. The parents are coming in. The parents are sitting down, and I'm a little bit in panic. I don't know if I have enough supplies, food, party things to share with all. I didn't know that was the culture. And they stayed for the entire time. And we figured it out really quick that in this area where we had moved to, when you say birthday, plan on cousins, aunts, uncles, George, everybody. Didn't know that. So, my point in kind of having that funny story is I needed to experience that to know, all right, next time I had a better plan. I could be very specific and I could say no thank you and I could right put on the boundaries and the parameters on that. So, when you're dating and you see things that are not acceptable, okay, if you don't learn from that, some of that accountability is on us because of this idea that well we want to continue in a relationship and things are going to move forward. There was one experience I had out in public where I was um I was newly married to my second husband, and we were out in an area, very busy, packed city, eating at a Waffle House, getting ready to sit down. And we noticed a couple. Well, all of us sitting there waiting for tables noticed this couple. The demeanor, the control, the power that this man had over this very small, petite woman was eye catching, eye noticing. And as they're having a private conversation, no one could hear what they were saying. But I could see many of the men in the room kind of shift and almost like get in a ready stance, like they knew something was going to happen. And
Hmm.
it did, right there, as we were all waiting to be seated. He had his trigger moment and went from that 0 to 15. She was against the wall, hand to the throat. That was it. And those guys jumped off the bench and she said probably some type of key word and he let her go and then he grabbed her hand and went out the restaurant. And I'm in my, shock moment and reliving my own movie and too much to process at that flash of a second. And guys followed them out. the she what are your choices? Now I know there are choices where you are really stuck and trapped, and I understand. I've been in a situation similar. My point in that is I'm sure there were red flags way prior before that moment, and I'm sure that moment has happened often in that
Mhm.
repetitive pattern. So, what like you were saying, if we continually accept this,
Mhm.
then his behavior is justified. It's fine.
Right. Because I have this saying that I say, what you don't repair, you will repeat. If you don't repair it, you will repeat it. So that's just like if you let somebody slap you and you don't tell them to stop, they're going to keep slapping you. If you go to school and you take a test and you fail it, you're going to have to keep taking it until you pass it. I mean, it makes sense. They're not going to pass you to the next grade until you can do the work of the current grade. You have to get it before you can move on. So we have to learn how to fix things so we can move on to the next level. But we have to get educated in this level before we can move to the next level. We have to learn what's acceptable and what's not. We have to teach people how to treat us. They say treat people how you want to be treated. Do you want somebody talking to you any kind of way and smacking you around or just disrespecting you? How do you want somebody to treat your mother? Do you want somebody just cursing your mother out or talking to her mean and disrespectful? No. So why would you want somebody talking to you like that? We have to let people know certain things. This is not acceptable. You're not going to talk to me like that. You're not going to talk to my kids, my daughter, my son, my family, or anybody that I'm connected to. Like, I don't like anybody that I know, love, that's connected to me being disrespected in front of me. If I see it, hear it, I'm going to say something to the person. That's just me personally. That's
Yeah,
me.
you have found a
So
voice, so you
you
are going to
you
say
don't
it.
accept it. You just don't accept it. But so many people has made it normal that, oh, that's that girl, that's just how she is, that's just him, leave him alone. No, somebody needs to teach him how to talk to people, learn how to respect others, learn how to respect people, learn how to talk to people the correct way.
The power in that is huge because you've drawn the boundary. What will be
Hmm.
accepted and what will not.
Right.
In teaching youth, that is so important
Yeah.
because we want to be liked, we want to have our friends, we want to be
Mhm.
accepted by the group. Now, that's just not a youth thing, that is a human thing.
Right.
We connect socially so we can survive. Well, connecting to somebody that's unhealthy and toxic is not a good choice on surviving.
At
But we're
all.
so beaten down and don't think that we're worth anything, we'll go with it. So we need
But
two teachings, right? We got to show that you are worthy and worth so much more. Your value is way beyond rubies. And this behavior stops. When we have a society that feeds and rewards terrible behavior,
mhm.
we have an uphill battle. But we can and we should. And I'm so happy when you see it, you call it out and you stop it.
Right.
That's
But
power.
but that's also why we're not supposed to do what the world is doing and following everyone. Romans 12:1 and 2 says, let us be not transformed to what the world is doing, but be renewed by transforming our minds. We're not supposed to be following and doing what the world is doing. We don't have to do what we see everyone else doing. Social media and society will have us thinking we have to be like this, we have to be like that. We have, for women, that we have to be a size negative 0 to think we're beautiful. That's not true. We can eat, women. We can have some weight on us. We can have hips and thighs and be healthy weight on us and still be beautiful. So we don't have to do what everyone else is doing. That doesn't make us not fit in. That doesn't make us not fit in. We have to, that's why everyone is individual. God made each one of us different for a reason. Even twins are different. They may be fraternal or whatever the other term is for them, but they are still different. They still have some differences. They may look the same, but they still have some differences because everybody has their own identity. We do not have to be the same. We may have some of the same clothes, or oh, I have that same bag she has, or something like that. But we are all different, and we are different in our own way. We're all beautiful in our own way, whether shape, size, color, hairstyle, hair, no hair, braids, curly, natural, weave, whatever, bush. We're all different, but we don't have to try to compete with one another or with what whoever is doing. We need to do what each ourselves are doing and be happy with that. Because when we do that, that's when we find out how amazing we are. That's when we find out how amazing we are. But a lot of us women, we can't tell another woman, oh my goodness, you are so gorgeous. You're beautiful. You look amazing today. Some women feel like it hurts them to give other women compliments, and it doesn't. It doesn't. So we have to learn how to know what we can tolerate and what should be said and what should not be said.
Yes. And within that, when we learn, we need to follow through with it. So,
Yes.
Patricia, this has been an awesome night. The red flags that you've pointed out to us, if we have things that are repeatedly happening that you are not accepted, that are not acceptable to you, shine that flag. If you find somebody that is in too much of that perfection,
Hmm.
mm, they're going to have their bad day. Well, when are they going to have it? And is it all going to land on you? And I can tell you, it's not going to be a one time event.
Right.
Other red flags happening, that name calling, that name shaming, that degrading of yourself till your
Hmm.
esteem has bottomed.
Yeah.
Then the physical starts, right? So
Yep.
the pre are the names, what your gut's telling you.
Hmm.
Um, are things happening over and over? That quote bad day. Well, this has been a bad day for 3 weeks.
Right.
I think we need to figure something out. You also said on the red flags, if they want to go too fast, to this, pull you out, isolate you. The only one over here, you haven't seen your mom for a while. Mm,
Hmm.
red flags.
Right.
And when
Because
we
then when
see
they get you
them,
by yourself, then nobody else can pour positivity into you. They got you by yourself. Now it's all negativity. Now they can get all negativity into you. When men get a woman that, per se, let's say a guy gets a woman that has a nice physique, he will get that woman and then start pouring into her that she looks bad, or she's gaining weight and different things like that. And then he'll start telling her, you look fat, you look sloppy, and different things like that. And then she will start believing those things. She will start overdressing or dressing like an old woman so she doesn't show her shape. But he will like seeing other women that look good, showing her body shape and things like that. And that's what men do. They tear women down so her self-esteem gets low. And then she starts believing it, and then she stops taking care of herself. She'll stop doing her hair, she'll stop taking care of her body, she'll start gaining weight, and then she just really won't care anymore. Her self-esteem is low, and now she just let herself go. Because now she's believing what he's been feeding to her. But if we don't believe in ourselves first, no matter what, we're going to believe what we're getting fed, that negativity. We have to look in the mirror every day, just like Mary J. Blige said. You look in that mirror in the morning and say, good morning, gorgeous. Talk to yourself. Tell yourself, so when a man tell you, Oh my goodness, you are so beautiful. You say, thank you, but I already knew that, honey. Tell yourself. You have, as women, we have to love on ourselves. A single woman. I'm single. A single woman. We have to love on ourselves. So when a man does it, don't be like, oh my God, he told me I was beautiful and it's not okay. I already knew that. I already knew that. Don't it's no height to it because I do it every day. I already know I'm gorgeous. I already know that. We have to love ourselves from the inside out, not just the outside, the physical, because this is going to change with age. It's going to change with age. We can keep ourselves up and still look good, but it's going to change with age. But on the inside, you can be still young and beautiful. That's what we have to remember. But don't let nobody tear you down and tell you you're not beautiful. That's what they like to do, tear you down. No, don't let them do it.
And those red flags,
Mm,
when we hear that support behind us, get the positivity with us, we
yes,
then can stop, move forward, and
yes,
bring hope again to ourselves, to our
yes,
families, to our children, and to our communities.
yes,
Patricia, thank you so much. If you guys are excited to find this book, you need to contact Patricia, and we've had running on the ticker underneath. You can reach
yes,
her at Pure Hearts Restored at gmail.com. That's where you can get this book and the opportunity to prevent, to get things ready before and as you're dating, thinking, I think that's a little warning sign. My gut's kind of tugging on me. Don't keep wasting the time.
hmm,
Move forward, find again, but take the time so that you're ready. Just don't jump into all of these quick flashes because you want everlasting love and light in your life.
yes,
Find it. Use those red flags as a warning as they are presented. God
yes,
gave you your guts. Follow those.
yes,
And like
absolutely.
how Patricia says, don't turn that blind eye to the red flag. Look at it, notice it, don't ignore it. And when
Right.
it's happening, be brave
Yes,
and move forward.
yes.
All right. Well, thank you everybody for coming to this evening. Thank you so much, Andrea, for your great comments throughout our conversation. Really appreciated everyone who showed up here live to the Unite in Light Domestic Violence Awareness Conference. So at this time, we're going to close her down. We will be back on Tuesday, and we're really excited. We'll have Andrea that evening, and we're going to be talking about the healing portions of after abuse, what happens and how to become stronger again. So we're really excited about next week. Thank you again, Patricia. This has been wonderful. And I hope everyone can find their light, give them hope, shine out brightly, and remember that we are a sisterhood here to help. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Goodbye.